Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United of the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United, the National League, are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast, sponsored by Lucky Star Gin. And I'm your host, Mike, as usual. And with me on the panel today, we've got Stuart and Paul. We're going to discuss the pre-season as a whole, new signings, and look forward to the Notts County match where the season actually really starts, because this pre-season is nonsense and we don't really care about it. Engagement is important. Please like, share, follow, comment on all the social medias. Let me know what you like, what you don't like. And a big shout out to everyone who regularly listens and regularly engages. Thank you very much. We're going to dive in and we will start with Paul. And we'll say, hello, Paul. How are you? It's been a long time.
Very good.
And what have you been up to over the summer?
Not a huge amount, to be honest with you. Not a huge amount. Just getting out and about. All sorts going on with the garden, which is a bit messy. Knocking sheds down and had a bit of a disagreement with the council about getting rid of it. So I made my point. But yeah, that was this weekend mainly. But yeah, in general, just getting out and about, living life, getting away from having a break from the football.
Great. I mean, every now and then I feel really old, but talking about gardening and sheds, Paul, is really hurting.
I know it's going a bit far, isn't it? But it was falling down, so it was a case of knocking it down or waiting for it to fall down. So yeah, didn't have a lot of choice.
And we have a debut for Stuart. Thanks for stepping in, Stuart.
Hello, thank you. I'm doing good.
Excellent. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your Sutton United history, connection, why you support us.
So I think I started supporting when it was just before the big Arsenal match. I got a text from my dad and he said one of our friends is supporting Sutton, and I thought, oh great, should take myself down, have a look and see what's going on, and I fell in love with the club. So I've been supporting for about I don't know how long now. How long ago was that? It's around about
2017.
Six and a half, yeah.
So
yeah,
trying to go to every home match since then. And I think my first away match was at Bromley, which was fun. Great fun.
But what kind of what was it that made you kind of go, yeah, this is it. This is where I'm going to come back to.
Just probably the local, being really like a small club compared to, I think my closest club to me is Crystal Palace, but I also support Chelsea, sadly. And I thought if I support a local team, it's got to be one that's a bit lower in the division. And non-league football is just sort of, you can stand, have a pint, watch a match. It's a lot easier. You can move around the ground. So I remember the fun part was being able to stand behind the opposition goalkeeper back in the day, give him a load of chat for about 45 minutes, get a burger, switch around to the other side, give him a load of that for another 45. Absolutely brilliant. I loved it.
Yep. That's it for most people, I think.
They were the days.
They were, yeah.
No, you just sort of have to make do by sort of going like across to the barrier.
Collingwood, yeah.
Good enough, yeah.
Yeah, not quite. But you also have another little claim that not a whole load of people can say. You scored a winning goal at the Gander Green End game. Get my teeth in. You can tell I don't want to talk about this goal. So, yeah, it was the fans' match. Talk us through it. Go on.
Yeah, so I saw they were advertising it and I thought I'd be an absolute dream to play on the pitch. So I signed up almost immediately, and I wasn't expecting to actually be a super sub like I was. Came on at right back, managed to make a darting run, get a good clean hit on the ball, back of the net, scored the winner. Absolutely amazing feeling.
Thank you very much for telling an abridged version of the goal.
Yeah, no.
I
could go on for hours, but I thought I'd just keep it.
I was walking away from the goal because I was convinced the central defender was going to head that back down into midfield, and then ended up finding out he'd headed it back into the left spot.
I mean, I thought I was completely offside, so I was like...
Well, you could have been offside because you started well ahead of me, and you was like, oh, your eyes lit up and just ran past me.
That just might be a age thing, you know. Got a bit more pace on it.
You were supposed to run around me first and then go for the ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was a good game. And then once again, thank you to Claire for organising it all. And got my shirt on for anyone who's watching on video.
I haven't washed it. So lucky.
I would not. Right, so one new signing, piece of news, person leaving us. Just going to quickly play this. And it's a big thank you and everything to...
1, 2, 3, 4, tell us what we've got in store. Angel Plastics, we've got the lot. Angel Plastics, we've got the lot. Fascia, soffits, downpipes, drainage, architraves and window trim. Cladding, decking, mouldings, plumbing, every type of guttering. Soil pipes, waste pipes, leaf guards, flashing, silicons and glue. We're a builder's paradise for DIYers too. Angel Plastics, we've got the lot.
All right, I'll stop it early. But yes, thank you to Angel Plastics for the last few years. I probably couldn't have worked out better for them at all. But I'm sure we will hear the song again. Well, depending on where we stand, we'll hear the song again at Gander Green Lane. But any thoughts on the change of sponsor? Did it come as a surprise? We've been famous for a little while.
No, I don't think so. These things have a cyclical life, don't they? And I assume the club are perhaps been pushing for a little bit more money as well, to be honest with you. So I don't know if that had a factor. These guys who have come in Echo Laser, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've been sponsoring the new terrace for as long as it's been there, haven't they? They sponsored the old one as well, didn't they, at that end? Did they sponsor it before? I can't remember. Maybe not.
I don't remember that.
No, I could be getting them mixed up. But yeah, I guess they've decided they would like to happily put a bit more in, or
Yeah.
get involved in it to a bit more larger extent, and let's see what happens.
I believe if what we hear is correct, Angel Plastics were given the chance to match the offer, and they decided they couldn't. Stuart, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think the pre-match song, it's iconic. Really going to miss it. Sort of gets everyone going in the stadium, I feel.
Absolutely. Very
Are these guys going to come out with a song of some sort then?
Maybe.
Echo
Mike's
Laser.
going to make it. No.
I'll put some bids in. Right, so let's talk a bit about the the summer as a whole. It was announced there's a mass exodus of players. At the time, obviously, it seemed a lot. Looking at it logically since, it's kind of like, oh, okay. But what were you kind of thinking at the time, Stuart, when you saw that list of names?
Well, I mean, some of them didn't surprise me, but I feel like the main two that really stood out for me was Will Randall and Omar Bugle. I feel like last season they were the real ones that sort of got us through some of the games. They were the main goal scorers. It was sad to see them go, although I feel like the replacements we brought in a lot better. I feel more confident with these guys than I did with Randall. I feel like he only had like sort of one skill, and that was cut in and shoot with his right. It was quite predictable, but it did work, so can't complain too bad.
I mean, I'm not saying I would have been able to stop him, but League Two defenders should really have been able to watch one or two videos going, oh, okay, I know what he's going to do. Although saying that he's going to score a worldie, isn't it? Paul, what were your thoughts on all the players leaving?
Yeah. I mean, it was a big number of players. Was it 8 to 10 players or something that went in total in the end? Something like that, wasn't it? I can't
12
remember
if
exactly.
we include
12.
If we include Adam, Roman, Matt, and Philip.
Yeah. No, fair point. See, Kobe, I think, was the one I was most surprised by. But I guess he's looking for regular first team football. I don't know if didn't he lead it all shot out? Has he been made captain?
Yeah.
So he's been made captain there. That's got to be great for
I
his.
don't know if he's full-time captain, but he definitely was captain for at least one or two of the friendlies. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I think it's going to be great for Kobe, and he'll play pretty much every game as long as he's fit, won't he? And Matt, I felt that we were quiet for so long, weren't we? It was worrying me that it was so quiet, and there was nothing coming out, nothing to help boost season ticket sales or anything like that. But I know there's a process, and I know it was probably just a little bit of frustration from me that it was so quiet, and I was just hoping to hear something happen.
Yeah, I don't think you're alone. I mean,
no.
I was a little bit like, oh my god, Omar and Will.
Then I think Ali as well.
Yeah,
seeing him go, that was
Ali was one that is one that I think we didn't want to go. Omar and Will, again, as you mentioned, big players. But I did, when I started to sort of think logically about it, it's like, well, we were quite predictable with Omar. We needed him, but teams sussed us out a little bit. I think the other player that we're going to miss, probably strangely more, is Enzio. Not that he's going to come in and change a game, but Enzio is one of those great players to have on the bench. Go right, left back, right wing, left wing, still stint in midfield, go up front for us. So I think he's going to be a bigger miss than some of the others. But I did look it up, and of all those sort of 12 players, it's 30 goals, which is a lot, but it's not irreplaceable.
Life-changing, is it?
Yeah, and I believe Omar, defender, has scored more goals than Omar, attacker, in the last 2 years. So it's, who knows? But as you mentioned, it was a bit quiet, and there was kind of no news, but we do know realistically that lots of clubs announce the news, but Sutton will always do things the right way and wait until it's exactly perfect. But then the signings started to trickle in. I mean, no disrespect to the fella, but Steve Arnold signing didn't set the pulses racing, but good, solid competition for Jack. I mean, what do we think there, guys?
Yeah, I mean, experienced goalkeeper. He's got plenty of football league experience, and he played fairly regularly last season, didn't he? And then he got an injury, and the younger guys come in and Topple took his place basically. They had a young guy come in, didn't they, at Southend?
Right, did they? Well,
I believe so.
A lot of their fans weren't keen for him to go. They wanted him to stay. So, Stuart, what were your thoughts on that?
Well, I think seeing Dino go the season before, Jack Rose really stepped up. So I didn't really see it as a position that we needed to replace. But I feel like Steve Arnold, he does bring in that competition. I reckon he will be a good second choice.
Yeah, and I think it gives us the freedom to let Brad go out maybe for a season and get that 90-minute games and sort of game management and everything. So I don't know anything in particular, but I think that's possibly a sensible solution. But then
it's so difficult for goalkeepers, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so difficult for goalkeepers because they're not playing. You know, Brad, when he came in for the games he did come in, obviously he tipped that one over the bar. No, he didn't touch the one, did he? That's right. He didn't touch.
No,
he didn't touch that shot. Yeah.
He knew it was an indirect free kick. He knew that.
Yeah.
And then he got his red card when he got his next chance. So I think he just needs the game time.
Really.
But then it started to pick up. We've got Christian Mgessen, who Conference South Team of the Year. Again, Ebbsfleet weren't desperate for him to go, so it's a good signing. Not many goals in him, but good solid signing. What have you thought of him so far of the games you've seen? I know you were only at the Reading game, weren't you, Paul?
Yeah, I was only at the Reading game. Yeah. No, I've read that he spent a lot of time at Burnley as is it the under-23s or the under-21s in one of the development setup that they had there, So he's got a good grounding, and then he's come in at Ebbsfleet, and it sounds like he's a solid player. We'll see so much more of them. We're only seeing bit parts of all of these players, so it's really hard to get a judgment of them yet, isn't it?
Exactly.
But I think we will find that, these players, we're gonna find out their pros and cons for ourselves as we go. And as you say, virtually every player that we've signed, most of the teams are gutted he's gone. He's been great for us. He's this, he's that. Really gives you some, confidence to that we're going to be all right. We're going to have an all right season.
Stuart, what do you think of Christian? What you've seen?
I think he's all right in the midfield. I feel like he's games are won in the midfield at the end of the day, and I reckon having that sort of depth in the squad there is going to be really helpful. I mean, we brought in Craig Clay. He seems a bit more like a leader rather than a one that's going to be starting on the games on the regular. So I feel like having him in there, he's a one.
I think in Gessens, I think he's 23, 24. So he's probably one to be building on. The next signing was the big central defender. I'm not going to like him. I'm telling you, he's a giant. He's a good-looking bloke, Omar. He's going to have to sit down when I walk in because I'm not standing next to him. But he looks solid. I know he kind of went off. I think it was against Reading again. But he's looked solid. Again, he's actually got quite a lot of Football League experience. People didn't realise. I think we signed him from Bromley, so people assumed he's got non-league, but he went to Bromley from the Football League. So I think he's actually played more games in the Football League than he has non-league. So what are our early thoughts on him? Same as just got to see him in the team.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some of the clips of what he's done. I didn't see anything where his goal scoring threat came through in the game. I was at. But again, the clips I've seen, he's obviously big, strong. He's going to be a threat from set pieces, which is important for us. We share goals around, and him getting a handful of goals will be really important for us to all games are going to be tight. There's going to be so many games that could be won and lost on the slightest thing. So we've got the long throw guy come in as well, or a couple of long throw guys, haven't we?
I was just going to say,
I'm sure we'll come to that.
What do you think of the set piece of Ryan Jackson? We've not got to see it yet.
We haven't, but I feel. I mean, bringing in two really tall guys this season and having a long throw, and I feel like we can definitely see what Matt's planning to do when we get into the opponent's box. So I'm really excited. I feel like it's a position we've sort of lacked. We don't really have anyone who could properly throw a ball into the box.
One of the guys who can take a very long throw is actually Omar, which is disappointing because obviously he can't head it in when he's throwing it. But we do have Harry Smith. I have to say, I don't know whether it's because it's friendlies, but he's not been quite as physical as I thought he would be. So against Aldershot, he didn't seem to be putting it about a little bit. Maybe that's just because I'm used to watching Omar batter people up front. But I don't know, should we be expecting more from him physically as well, or just literally the height?
Well, at the games I was at, I felt like he was, when we played it long, I felt like he was taking it down quite well. I don't think he's got an awful touch on him. And I mean, I think the last striker that we brought in who really got me properly excited was Tommy Wright, and that's been a long time since he's left. Yeah. So Harry Smith, he's the one I feel like he's going to be a big impact next season, hopefully.
Yeah, I think he got 9 in 15 for Barnet last year, which is a very good return considering we only joined him in January. You've mentioned Craig Clay, obviously experienced. It'll be an interesting midfield if we have both Craigs playing. I feel sorry for a lot of referees' ear rolls, but what do you reckon, Paul? the
Yeah,
midfield.
he's again another solid player. You know, a lot of experience as well. I think that's something that's good. That's something that's going to help us. We've got players in that have got league experience as well. We've brought a few in who have got some good league experience in them, who've got a good head on them. Hopefully, help us to manage games and help us to some killer passes, some decent balls in, decent what's the word? Just play in general, I guess.
Yeah.
Try to help.
Yeah,
Go on, sorry.
yeah. I mean, and then the last one for this little batch was Josh Coley. Stuart, were you at the Harrogate game where he ripped us to pieces? It was Harrogate. Yeah,
Harrogate. Yeah.
I don't think I was at. I can't remember it vividly, but I might have been
he
there.
scored almost the goal of the season, but it just went slightly over the bar instead of slightly under the bar.
Yeah,
but he's looked good so far as well.
He's looked quite exciting, hasn't he? He's got a bit rapid.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we will see. It's. I think overall, though it took a bit of time, we're all pretty happy with the business that we've done, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're quite impressed. We seem to have a good size squad as well. We seem to. I'm not sure of the exact numbers, to be honest with you, but it feels like we've got a decent size squad, good bit of depth. It's good. It's good to see a couple of youngsters coming in as well.
We'll move to them in a sec, but
that's
absolutely fine. But Stuart, that's one thing I was going to say. I mean, it's the first time for a little while now that I think we might struggle to say, well, who's Matt going to pick? Because Matt normally just sticks to he's loyal to his
yeah.
team.
I mean, that's what happened last season when we went on a good run of form, and then we sort of dipped out because we were playing the same team every week. Basically, it's predictable. But this season, I feel like we've definitely developed in squad depth. We're going to have a lot of competition going around. Hopefully, that's pushing everyone to sort of be at their best form. I think a position that's lacking, though, I think left back. I feel like having Milsom and Sam Hart, it doesn't fill me with confidence, to be honest. Because I'd pick Rob Milsom, although he's getting on in age. So I just feel like
he's about 12 years younger than me. It's fine. I get it.
very sorry, Paul.
No, you're right.
Fair, we were talking about sheds a little while ago, Paul. So, so on to Haven and the point you were making. I mean, it's an interesting game. It was quite exciting, and an academy player on the bench, Ollie Kinder. Lots of good things about him. I sort of spoke to Jimmy Dack very, very briefly, and he said, yeah, he's really good, and there's more backed up behind him as well. He's something everyone loves. I don't know why. When an academy player comes through, we always give them a little bit more leeway on the mistakes. We're more forgiving, and everyone wants them to do well. And it's like we're really different to another sort of young player coming through. But what do you think, Stuart, of the academy playing through, and especially Ollie Kinder, how he's been?
Well, I think our academy is really strong for the league we are in. I mean, we've been non-league for ages. We're a League 2 club now. We've got a really great academy, and I think homegrown players are always a lot more supported by the fans, and having that support behind them, hopefully it'll put them on top of their game. I reckon we're definitely doing well in our academy, especially with like Jimmy Dack was saying, 3-4 years. I feel like we'll still be great with our academy products.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Cool. Yeah. So Ollie put the cross in for Josh Coley to score a winner. So that's always good. We were both at the Reading game. I kind of came away from the Reading game. Obviously, we beat them 2-0. I was more saying they weren't great than we were great. But what were you kind of thinking at that point? I mean, were you? I know it's pre-season friendlies. We've already said that they don't mean an awful lot. But two wins in 2 at that point. You feeling good or still not?
Yeah. No, I was happy, but it is about the process, isn't it? You can't get too carried away with the results when you win pre-season. You can't get too carried away when you lose. It's getting minutes in the legs, and it's seeing the team gelling and seeing the likes of these youngsters. He really stood out, I thought, Ollie, and he played in a couple of different positions as well. He played a bit further up and dropped back, didn't he?
Yeah.
So it's good to know that he's adaptable and he could be someone who will, slot into the squad, and there'll be changes and there'll be players rested, and I think we may be a little bit more, have a bit more rotation this year. I know it worked the way it did, but as Stuart was saying, having the same side, we got I don't know if predictable was the right word, but it had a drain on the players, didn't it? It made it hard, and obviously, the injuries come and go, and I think having a rotated squad will probably work in a beneficial way for us this season.
Yeah, I think the same team worked absolutely fine when we had something to go for. They had that motivation. They kept going. But as soon as that chance kind of got pulled away from us, you could just see that it was like, we've reached the end. We're knackered. We can't do anything. But we played against Millwall. We did all right. They're a strong side. There's not a lot you can say. The Championship side, I think, we just missed the playoffs last year. Or they got to the playoffs. Farnborough wasn't great, and one of the bad things about the pre-season friendlies is we suddenly seem to have no centre-backs all of a sudden, so we had to bring Jack Taylor in from the academy and had to sort of battle for a draw at Farnborough. So all of a sudden things aren't looking so great in the pre-season friendly stakes. I know Scott Casket, I think he was trial in the Woking game, I think he was in the Farnborough game as trial, and he was announced for the Woking game.
Yeah.
He seems quite lively. Were you at Aldershot, Stuart?
No, I was not at Aldershot. I was at three of them. So
yeah, he seemed quite lively.
Millwall, Reading, haven't.
Yeah. Scott could have. I think Tony sort of said could have had a hat trick. That might have been overly generous, but I think he did well. And then the one we've got to talk about signed after the Woking game. And I think Andy Kay said, I'm going to milk this like it's got others, and he is not wrong. The signing that I said a month ago that we should make, Omari. What did we think about that? That was, yeah.
Where was the insight from, Mike? Where did it come from?
Nowhere. I swear to you. There are
got a bit of inside knowledge.
No, there are one or two snippets of inside information that I have, and I never ever say them. But when I said it and someone was like, yeah, that's a target, I was like, okay, you'll find that I didn't mention it at all once I'd said it. I kept it very quiet. But yeah, he is very impressive. Stuart, what do you think about that signing?
I think that's the one we need in our attack. Can he play on like both sides of the wing?
Yeah, go on. What did you think about that signing?
He's the one that we needed, I think. It's always nice to have a player drop down from a league. I mean, they've only just got promoted, scoring the winner in a playoff. I think he shows a lot of quality. I feel like that one was the one. Once we signed him, I was happy with our pre-season.
Yeah, I had a little worry with the he wants to play on the wing and kind of demanding where to play. But we need him as a winger anyway. And he did say in his interview he has the knowledge to play up front if he's called upon. So I'm like, oh, okay, so that doesn't mean he's refusing to play up front. He just prefers to play on the wing. So I'm a little bit happier. But for Matt Gray, he said he's still got a couple more to come in. Paul, where are you looking for those? I mean, the centre-back, a lot of people go on about centre-back position. We've got 3 good centre-backs and Joe Kizzy who can play there. So if these injuries are only temporary, we're not really going to try and buy another Aaron Pierre to cover centre-back and then not need him in a few weeks, are we?
No. It's interesting. Maybe we need another winger. I think potentially Josh and Amari are going to be the starters in my opinion. We've got Ollie, I guess, as well, who could potentially be capable of stepping up and doing a job. So I think we certainly would perhaps need another. though obviously between Sam Hart and Rob Milsom, they work together. They've worked together on that side as well, haven't they? So, yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's just about bulking the squad just a little bit more. Centre mid, maybe. What have we got? I suppose we've got 4 centre mids, haven't we? Harry Beautyman is more the attacking option, isn't he? I'm guessing is he he's more holding, isn't he?
Deep lying, I think. He's
yeah.
deep lying midfielder.
So whether we need a sort of another attacking midfielder, possibly. Yeah, don't know. But you think 2 more then? As Matt said, potentially 2 more.
I think he said a couple more. No, actually, he said a few more. I don't know. Stuart, where are you thinking? If you've loaded up your Football Manager save, what are you looking to do?
Yeah, I think, as I mentioned previously, left back's one of those positions that we need to strengthen. But I also think it's always quite nice to have a solid line of defence in there as well, having a lot of options. Defensive midfield's one of those positions that I think we need to bring in someone. Although, having said that, I feel like Matt saying he's going to bring in a few more signings. I think he said he'd be happy when he gets about 10.
All right,
I think it might be a bit too much, to be honest. I feel like we just got to learn as a squad, build as a squad. I think that's...
Yeah. I think that'll give him a bit of problems that he doesn't necessarily want, in that he has too many players fighting for positions. Okay, well, before we get on to the preview, I've got this new thing. So if anyone's listening that wants to join this in, I think I'm going to go with points of views, because it sounds like points of views, and we all know I like a real cheesy pun. I've asked people to send in some questions. I've had a couple sent in, which I'll go for here. I'm not sure if someone's up to a bit of mischief, but what do we think of the food at the pre-season matches? I wasn't aware it's been changed. I wasn't aware if there's been any changes, because I haven't had the food.
I think it's the prices mainly, isn't it? They're always hiking them.
Yeah, I've not eaten either, to be honest. It's the prices, they do seem like they've gone up a little bit. I think I had a cup of coffee, and that didn't change anything. So that other than the price, that I think had gone up a bit. It tasted the same.
I mean, as long as it's funding those new signings, I'm always happy to pay a bit extra.
Yeah. It is an outside company, so I'm not sure how much, but jury is still out on the food. Whoever wants to make mischief there. One other situation we've kind of avoided, but it came in as a question. What do we think of the Killian situation? What do we know, don't know? What do we think?
It's a strange one, isn't it?
It is.
Matt's clearly not too impressed with it. You can tell by his sort of body language when talking about it. Something's happened there. The agent's got involved by the sounds of things, and he's obviously off trialling. I wonder if he's playing anything behind closed doors, whether he's allowed to play behind closed doors. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't think we've given permission for him to
No,
play.
No, but
I mean, what happens if he gets injured training with them? So, Stuart, what do you kind of think of the whole situation?
To be honest, I think if you don't want to be in the team, I don't really mind. Just get on, don't affect us. I think it's about that mentality. We want to win as a team rather than one player is bigger than the whole club. So
I think
that's my view on it.
I think someone said that it seems like his agent wants to have a player at a League One club, doesn't really care about development, just wants the player at a League One club, so he can say he's got a League One player in his books. But I don't know.
I really think his development would have been so much better if he'd been with us through pre-season, being one of our players. You know, he's looked good when he's played. He's shown signs of he's got something. You know.
Yeah. I mean,
so it'd be.
There is another side where potentially, I'm not saying this is it, 'cause I don't know, but maybe he thought with Omar leaving, he could then be stepping up. And with the signing of Harry, he's then thinking, well, hang on, am I now being pushed back down again? So he might be feel a little bit upset he's been pushed out because he's only getting like those 20 minutes and the sort of 70 minutes every now and then. So, I mean, it might well be he thinks he can play more, but I don't see him playing at a League One club, to be honest. Okay, we've laboured on the pre-season enough. We gave it more attention than we should have, really. But we're looking forward. So it's going to be a tough season. We are being joined at the moment by Tom Williams, who is a Notts County fan, but a huge fan of football and loads of stats. And I'll be honest, a lot younger than I thought you would be, Tom. Hello, Tom. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Are you?
Very good, thank you. Before we get on to Notts County, I mean, I don't think you've done your 1 to 24 yet, have you?
I've just posted it about half an hour ago, so that's why you haven't seen it because you've been on here. So
Did I see you mention there was 20,000 words or something? I follow you on Twitter as well. So
it's about 21,500 words, something like that. So
wow.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've looked at it, and I'm not great at these things, but I'm thinking, right, you can probably build a case for about 10 clubs, 12 clubs getting the auto promotion slots, which sounds tough. But then I'm putting a really optimistic head on. I'm going, well, that also means they're going to take points off of each other, which means they're going to get lots of draws, which means that there's points up for grabs for the pub team from Surrey. What do you think about the season ahead of us, Paul?
Me, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm optimistic. I think when things were quiet and signings were a bit, thin on the ground, I was a bit worried. But with the signs we've made, I think we're going to be solid. We're going to be hard to beat. We've always been hard to beat, and it's going to take some effort to get through us. We're big. We're strong. I can see us having a solid enough season, mid-table. If we were to push towards anything like the playoffs, it would be great. Even if we had a little flirt with them for a while, that would be nice. But mid-table would be all right. I'd like to see a bit of a cup run this year. I'm looking forward to the Cambridge game in Carabao. See us get a victory. First home
win
game
in the League Cup.
In the League Cup, yeah. Small victories.
Stuart, what do you think of the season briefly?
Well, I think we're winning the whole thing. To be honest, no.
Yeah, that's it. We've clearly got more than the tenner in the bank.
I'm clearly a pessimist.
Insider knowledge. No, I think I'd be happy if we get just grab a promotion spot. We've missed out on it 2 seasons in a row now. I think it's just been annoying me a bit. I feel like we need to definitely get in a promotion playoff spot there. But I'd also like a cup run as well. Cup run is
another couple of years. It's every 5 years we get promotion. So we've only done 2 years in this division, so we've still got a couple more to go. So
yeah, I think we're solidifying ourselves.
Yeah. So Tom, where did you put us?
You're not going to like where I put you. I actually put you 21st, which is obviously very low.
Same as loads of people. We don't mind.
But yeah, I know. Well, hearing you now, maybe I'm doubting it, but I just think the division is so competitive this season. Like the bottom sort of the bottom half of the table, I think could be any way around really. Well, as for the top, because I think there's probably 10, like you said, 10 teams that could probably have a genuine claim for top 3 spots, which is just crazy. So it's so hard to predict. But yeah, I've got you guys struggling just because you've lost a lot of players as well. Obviously, we took Randall off of you, and you've got quite a big turnover of players. But you have added some good players. Harry Smith is very good. He's incredible in the air. So it depends how the team will click together, I guess. But I'm slightly more pessimistic than you guys on your chances this season. I think you should be fine though.
No, I mean, to be fair, we got Crawley taking up one of the spots, so it's like, okay, I'll do.
Hopefully.
Exactly. So if not, people aren't following Tom, what's your Twitter again, Tom?
It's Tom H Williams 23.
Loads of great stats and info. It's really useful, and I mean, literally, they signed Will, and he had a thread on Will within about 20 minutes with all sorts of video clips. And I'm going, I don't think I could even do a search that quickly, let alone get it all together. So, brilliant account. But we're going to talk to you as a Notts County fan. So, a couple of quick questions. How long have you been supporting Notts County, and kind of what got you started there?
I've been going to county games for as long as I can remember. Obviously, it's like my local team. And then my passion for the club really intensified when I went to uni. Like I think being like away from home maybe got me a little bit homesick, and my passion's intensified over the last few years. But I have been going to games for as long as I can remember, really. Especially when we had Lee Hughes back in sort of 2010 times, it was great, and we had the fake shake owners, and it was all very exciting, lots of exciting players. So yeah, it's been a real roller coaster.
And have you got any superstitions or traditions that you have to do on match days? Because we know that some people are really weird and have to stand in the same place and go through the same gate, etc., etc. What's yours?
It's only a recent one, but it's hanging there. But my girlfriend got me this scarf for my birthday, and I don't think I've not been to a game. Well, we didn't lose many last season anyway, but I wore it to both the playoff and the final, the semi-final and the final. So I guess that's a lucky charm. So I'll be wearing that to all the games this season.
Yeah, that's how these things start, mate. I'm telling you. So, what's your if there's one player from your team's history that you've been watching, which has been for years, that you could pick up and put in the squad today at their prime? Who would you be putting in the team from the history?
It's probably unfair on Aidan Stoney, who we've just signed, because I actually really like him. I think he's going to have a really good season this season, that new keeper. But I'd probably take Casper Schmeichel in goal. It's very good goalkeeper, isn't he? And I think he'd be pretty good. So I'd probably take Casper Schmeichel there. Yeah,
to match Ben Foster.
Yeah, exactly. It's high profile, and obviously he's very good with his feet as well. So it's what we need for a keeper.
Excellent. And I normally would ask at this point, how's the season been so far? But how was pre-season for you guys so far? Highs and lows.
Yeah, there has been highs and lows. Actually, we conceded 5 against Stoke, and I think after that everyone started to panic. But since we were really good against Forest, and we've drew Shrewsbury the other day, and I think we look pretty good. I'm really excited now that it's less than a week, and I think we've gotten better and better as pre-season's gone on, which is what you want ideally. And our fitness levels look good. We look better prepared than last season. We didn't have a bad start last year, but we didn't have a fast start at all. So I think if we can hit the ground running a little bit quicker, it'll be really good.
Lovely. And if there was one, probably not on this one for you, but if there's one thing you could change about your club, stadium, kit, anything at all, what would it be? Probably not much, to be fair, is it?
Not a lot. Maybe you talk about food before I came on. Maybe match day food and drinks, just not great, not amazing. The hospitality is brilliant. I did that once last season. That was really good. But in terms of actual match day food, it's not amazing. I normally just get mushy peas with mint sauce.
Yeah, I'm forever stunned why big companies like McDonald's don't just go, right, we'll start franchising in football clubs and make a mint of money for a couple of hours on a Saturday.
And they would
right,
make a lot,
yeah. So this is now going to kind of, this is where I've changed it a little bit. It's going to come to all of us. So I will start with you, Tom. How does Sutton win this game? What needs to happen for Sutton to win this game?
I think you've got to be patient. I think we will dominate the possession. That's what we do. I think you've got to be patient. I think you've got to break with pace and take your chances. We saw in the playoff, we do concede chances. The way we play, there will be chances on the break, and you just got to take them. I mean, Boreham Wood were very unfortunate, but they kind of had 2 chances and took them both. So they kind of did everything they could to win that game. So I think that's the main thing, is if you do get a chance from our own mistake, you have to be clinical.
Stuart, what do you think we have to do to win the game? That sounds like a blueprint for what we've got, to be fair.
I think long ball, or long throw ends, just hope Harry Smith can get his head on it, put it in the back of the net. I think that's our only hope. That's our only way of scoring, I reckon. Hopefully, lockdown set pieces that come in as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big 6'6" defenders.
Yeah. Paul, what do you reckon?
Yeah, similar. I think set pieces are going to be vital for us. I think that we're going to probably sit and we're going to have to attack probably on the counter, which I think could work with the quick, skillful wide players. Stop Langstaff and McGoldrick and Bostock from running the midfield. And it's not easy. It's going to be a tough one. It's a real tough start.
I mean, we do have a prayer room, so are your players religious? Because it locks from the outside, so if they want to go in there, we can just lock them in for a bit.
Yeah, well, Bostock's very religious. So maybe you should get him in there. Bostock's very religious. So
excellent. I'm not sure that's its practical use, but anyway. So who do we think could be the player to win the game with a moment of brilliance? Tom, who I mean, Paul's just listed a load of them, but who is it?
Sorry.
That's right.
This is for Notts or for Sutton
for anyone really.
Yeah, well, for Sutton, Harry Smith did actually score against us for Barnet, but it was the easiest goal he'll ever score. It was like an open goal from our own mistake. So that's sort of sometimes we were the architects of our own downfall last season. The player to watch. I always say this, but I think Aaron the main down the right hand side, our right wing back, he will get into the box and cause a lot of issues. He's a very simple player, but he's very fast and quick actions. He'll drill the ball across the box. The only issue you'll have with marking Langstaff, you mark him out of the game, which teams have done, but then that opens a space for McGoldrick, who will be in the Ruben Rodriguez role now in behind. So I guess it depends on how you guys approach the game, but I think we've got lots of match winners. Jody Jones has had a very good pre-season as well on the left, so look forward to see him.
Stuart, who do you?
I think it's going to be a stab through the heart with Will Randall and his cut inside, and it's going to be depressing. It will be depressing. No, I think I think you know what, I reckon we'll win 1-0, and I think Omari will get the goal. I think he'll prove his quality.
Okay.
Why we signed him.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I did have Will scoring, and everyone turned into choke as he came. You knew what he was going to do. Why? Why have you let him do it? Paul, who do you think?
Yeah, I'm curious to ask Tom actually about defensively how well they work as a unit. I've seen, I followed that whole season. It was a mad season, really. From the outside, it must have been hellish at times from the inside. And there was some defensive mistakes. I watched a few of the BT games, and especially obviously the Wrexham one. That was obviously the killer blow, unfortunately for you guys. But yeah, I've seen a few sort of defensive mistakes. Are they something that were prevalent last season? And is that something you think could be seen as a weakness?
Yeah, it's definitely a weakness of ours. I think it comes with the territory of the style we play. I think there will be defensive errors because they are asked to do so much with the ball. Especially at this level, defenders aren't really often asked to. Our defenders pass the ball more than anyone else on the pitch for us. So they're asked to do so much in possession that often they do make a mistake. Misplaced pass, especially because we play with such a high line and we try and compress the game in the opposition half and make things difficult for them to get out. If we misplace a pass, it can often go straight to a strike when you clean through on goal. So, there are some weaknesses there, but I think it was more, in the big game against Wrexham, it was cruelly exposed. We kind of there were games where we got away with it a little bit, and there were games where we a few mistakes from the keepers. Slocum is probably another backup. He had a good season, but he often made mistakes in possession too. But a lot of the time they get brushed under the carpet because I think one was against Yeovil, we won 4-1. No one really remembers a mistake in a 4-1 win. So to answer your question, a long-winded way of saying there are defensive issues on the ball, but I think it's just something we have to sort of to live with because this comes with how we play.
No, fair enough.
the keeper and the defensive coaches will remember the 4-1 goal. They get very upset by conceding goals. So, Stuart, I'll start with you this one. If you could get into that changing room just before kick-off, what message would you give to the team just before kick-off?
I'd probably say go out there and get the job done. I reckon that would be my message. Make sure you're giving it 100%. That's what we want. First game of the season, we want to win. Hopefully that'll set us up. That's what I'd say.
Similar to what I said before, really. Be patient. No silly mistakes. Let's try and hit them on the counter. Hopefully, as I say, the wide players will be useful for us and will do a job. And be clinical. You really need to take chances at this level. That's something we really noticed when we've come up and when there's these tight games, you've really got to take your chances because you might not get many.
Right, it's half time now, Paul. You realise that message was so long. Tom, what would be your message to your players?
Just the same as normal, really. Just play our game, and I think, maybe it's me being slightly arrogant because it's a step up in level. But if we play our game and play the way we can, I think most teams will struggle to live with us just because of the quality we've got and the way we dominate the ball. And just be patient, like Paul said, no silly mistakes. Just be patient because the openings we'll create them and we'll take them as well.
Okay.
Where do you see you finishing, actually, Tom?
I put us third. I put us third. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people have got you as favourites. A lot of people are fancying you to potentially win it.
Yeah, well, I'd take that, but I think it must be. I don't know. Maybe it will suit us the step up and the way we play, but it all depends on how we handle that step up in quality. Because if we play like we did last season, we shouldn't have any issues. But obviously, there are better players in this division. It's a high division, so it will depend, and also depend on how much of a miss Rodriguez will be because he was a fantastic player for us.
So I thought that when I said about the player that who you take from your history, I was like, come on, you can't cop out and take the guy who's just left. But what's your prediction, Tom, for the game?
I think we will win. I'm hoping it'll be more comfortable than it probably will be. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be nervy. I think it's one of those where if we did get a draw, it wouldn't be the end of the world because it's our first game back and no one wants to start the season with a loss. So I think if it's not one where we'll be pressing madly to get a winner late. But I think maybe 2-0 to us if I had to give a score prediction.
2-0.
But yeah, I think we will win. But I don't think it'll be wide or anything. I think it'll be a close game.
Excellent. Paul, what do you reckon?
I can see there being goals. I don't know why. We've not scored a huge amount pre-season. I've just got how it just goes completely against the grain. I'm going to go 3-2 to us. No logic to it. No logic at all. But yeah, why not?
Stuart, are you sticking with your 1-0?
Well, I might change it to a 3-0 Harry Smith hat-trick, I reckon.
Okay.
I love the optimism. I really do.
Well,
I'll buy you a pint if it finishes 3-0 afterwards.
Right. I saw that the odds were something like 4-1 for us winning, and then someone mentioned that we've never beaten Notts County. So I was like, oh, right, okay, then definitely we're going to win 2-1. Full of optimism in Sutton. Would it be the end of the season for you guys if Sutton beat you? Would you guys be really, really pissed off with that? Or?
I think the fan base would go into meltdown, yeah, but it wouldn't be the end of the season at all. I think Luke Williams would be more... He'd be down on the players after as well, but he'd be more realistic. But I think there would be a meltdown online, yeah. Which is... I don't think it's that fair because, who are we to come into the division and demand that we beat every team home and away? But that is how our fans are.
Yeah, but it is something everyone underestimates us. We don't care. We love it. Well, all these people put out there, like yourself, with the things, oh, you won't like me, I'll put you as 21st. It's like, honestly. It doesn't make any difference to us. But yeah, I'd say I'm going to go with 2-1. Just wildly optimistic. I think we're going to concede a goal fairly early. Everyone being annoyed and feel like they want to leave, and we'll score some late goals again. Get back into that groove. That would be quite nice. But I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for your time. This is the Lucky Star Gin sponsored Sutton podcast. Please like, share, do all the usual social media stuff at Sutton Podcast, and leave a review on any of the podcast things. Thank you to the panel. Thank you to Stuart for stepping in late and not gloating about your goal too much against me. Paul, thanks once again, Paul. And Tom, thank you very much for your insights. And don't forget to give Tom a follow. He's not just Notts County stuff. There's loads and loads of great stuff on there. And take care, and we'll see you all soon. We'll see you Saturday. Hopefully, season starts again properly. Take care now. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.
United! 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 United!